Hey, boys and girls, it's Miss Bermudez and Toothless here. Rawr! I bet you guys forgot about that, huh? I think about that every once in a while. I miss doing that in the morning with you guys. Anyway, so today we're going to be doing a little bit of reading mixed with a little bit of science. So I know how much you guys really loved all that science stuff. This is some of the stuff that we didn't get to do in our, well, we weren't planning on doing this in our science kit. We were supposed to be doing a little bit of life cycles with butterflies that we didn't get to do because school is closed, but we'll get to do all that fun stuff again another day. Anyways, so we are going to be doing your work packet, and these pages are a little bit far back in your work packet. So I think it's like page 20. So we're going to be going over this. What's the big idea about water? Okay, we're going to read this together, and let's talk about this sheet for a minute. Aside from the reading, now this reading has some more text features. Okay, last week you learned about the headings with Miss Purvis. So this one has words that are, there's headings on here that tell you what we're reading about, right? Or what it's about. All living things need water here, and there's another subheading, all ecosystems need water. But one of the text features I see here is words that are underlined. Okay, in this particular one, the words that are underlined correspond, or they match up to a word down here in your word bank. Okay, so like the first word, algae, is underlined here in the reading, and here it tells you algae is a living thing like a plant. It lives mainly in water and makes its food from the sun. Algae can be found in all types of water. Okay, so that's what these underlined words are telling you. All right, so I put together a little slideshow because sometimes, I mean, it's informational, but sometimes you just want to have a little bit of fun. So let's go ahead and read this in a different way. And let's share my screen. There I am. All right. So, what's the big idea about water? I'm going to, hang on just a second. Give me just a second. I'm going to, there. We're just going to look at the PowerPoint. All right. What's the big idea about water? MMPS STEAM Learning Activity, second grade, May 13th, 2020. That's today. All right. Let's go to the first. Let's see if it'll work for me. This first clip just doesn't want to go sometimes. Really. Here we go. So read along on your packet, okay? This is going to be the same thing. I've typed the same words. It has the same words. It's on the sheet in your packet. You can, if you don't have the packet, it's okay. You can read along here, okay? Because this is exactly what it says. This is the header. It says all living things need water. And we have here on one side are some animals, and we have plants, okay? Snails, snakes, bats. There's some birds, a mountain goat, insects, fish, even scorpions and desert turtles. They need water too, okay, to live. Plants also need water to live. We knew about the plants needing water to live, right? Okay, because what happens when you don't water your plants? They die. And even like with our science kit, remember, we had to put water in the dirt for the worms, because worms, if they don't have water, they will shrivel up and die. All right. All living things, from tiny algae to giant blue whales, need water to survive. Without water, life as we know it would not exist, and life exists wherever there is water. Okay, now in my PowerPoint, I not only underlined it, but I put it in bold print. Okay, bold print, when you read nonfiction text, you will see bold print too. That means it's trying to draw your attention to that word for some reason. And on this one, it is because I'm telling you what it means. Okay, so the word that algae is in bold and it's underlined, and here I have under the picture, I have a caption. Okay, so it tells you what's going on in the picture. It says algae is a living thing like a plant. It lives mainly in water and makes its food from the sun. Algae can be found in all types of water. Okay, and there's a rock. It might be in the ocean, at the ocean shore at the beach. It could be in a lake or a river, but the algae just kind of grows wherever there is water. It says algae can be found in all types of water. If you have or ever had a fish tank or saw somebody who had a fish tank, or just saw a fish tank, there might sometimes be green stuff growing on the inside of the water. That's algae. We don't always want that in our fish tank. Sometimes our fish eat it, sometimes they don't, and it just makes our fish tank look yucky. But it just grows everywhere, and it makes its own food so that it keeps living. See, it just grows. We don't plant it or anything. It just appears. All right, so we also have blue whales, and most of you guys would know what a blue whale is. Here is a picture of a blue whale, and I think they call this breaching, where they jump out of the water. And it says here, blue whales are mammals that live in the ocean. They are the largest mammal on the planet. All organisms, like animals and plants, use water, salty or fresh, hot or cold, plenty of water or almost no water at all. And Mrs. Bermudez made a mistake on this slide because I have a bolded word that says organisms, right? But I don't have the definition on there. So let's read the definition on our page, okay? It says organisms. And this might be why I forgot to do it, because I was distracted that the person who put together this packet, they put organism. They spelled the word wrong. I didn't spell it, but somebody spelled it wrong, and I think that distracted me when I was making this slide, and I don't know. Anyway, so an organism is a living thing. Plants, animals, and even germs are all organisms. Next, habitats. They're adapted to all kinds of habitats, from sizzling deserts to the freezing pitch dark ocean floor. Okay, a habitat is the natural environment of an animal or plant. It is where animals live that aren't pets. Here is a picture of a desert habitat, an ocean habitat, a rainforest habitat, a savanna habitat. There's so many different kinds of habitats. Okay. The first living things appeared in the ocean nearly 4 billion years ago. Some, like our ancestors, adapted to life on land. A billion is a really big number. It's bigger than 100. It's bigger than a million. A billion is 1, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. Woo! That's a 1 with 9 zeros after it. That is how much a billion is. A million only has 6 zeros. Okay? And then our other vocabulary word here, ancestors. We learned this word earlier. Like when we did Grandfather's Journey, we were talking about ancestors, right? Ancestors are people from your family that lived a long, long time ago. Humans have figured out how to survive in swamps, deserts, and all kinds of habitats in between. The ocean is still home to more kinds of life than anywhere else on the planet. And I looked for some pictures of some neat habitats, how it says humans learned how to survive in swamps and deserts. So here's kind of a swamp or river area. And like our habitat, we would live in a house. And I see a little house here built over in the corner that's hiding. And I see, instead of like a garage to put a car in, there's a boat in there. So they have learned how to live on the water. Sorry, I dropped my paper. And the other one is like a desert home, okay? And this is like made out of, these walls and these houses are made out of clay. It's called adobe. You might remember from our soils science kit, our clay, it's kind of like a reddish. So if you mix a lot of that with some water, and you could build houses with it. All right, all ecosystems need water. How much water is there on an island or a mountaintop? Well, the answer determines what lives there and how many of them. An ecosystem is a community of living thing or species. Some ecosystems are very wet and others very dry, some with fresh water and others with salty water. Ecosystems are a group of living things, all living together in the environment. And here is a picture of a lake ecosystem. Okay, I see some water birds. They might be storks or herons. Okay, long-legged birds. I also see some alligators or crocodiles. I can't tell the difference between them, but it's a group of living things. Okay, so we know that plants are also living things too. So all these grasses and bushes and trees that you see in the background, those are all part of the lake ecosystem as well. What other animals do you think might live in this lake ecosystem? I see another little small bird here. There might be some fish, maybe some turtles. That might be something that you might want to get in get online and look up and see what kind of things animals live in a lake ecosystem. Some ecosystems, like coral reefs, support lots of species, and others, like the dry Antarctic valleys, support very few. Now, I know that this cat picture is kind of confusing, okay, because it says some ecosystems like coral reefs support lots of species, but the pictures are going along with the words to help you understand the word species, okay? And because if you look at your work packet, it says species is a group of living things that are really similar. All house cats are from the same species, and all human beings are the same species, okay? So here's the different cats. They all kind of look similar, but they're all very different, much like human beings, okay? We are all the same species. We all look similar. We have a head, two eyes, a nose, a mouth. We have arms, hands, fingers, feet, legs, you know, kind of like the same, but we have different color hair, we have different color eyes, our skin is different colors, our noses are different shapes, our ears are bigger or smaller. Nobody looks the same. Well, maybe some twins or triplets, but that's another story. All right, so let's see. The Antarctic is far away at the South Pole. Okay, now it says the Antarctic valleys support very few species. I wonder, take a second and think, why do you think the Antarctic supports very few species or living things? Pause it and think about it for a minute. Okay, so like if I'm looking at a clue word and I'm looking here, it says like the dry Antarctic, right? And we are talking about water and how all living things need water to survive. Okay. Um, if it's below freezing in Antarctica, it's far away at the South Pole. It's very, very cold. We know that snow and ice will melt to make water, but if it's below freezing, that ice is not going to melt. So, I mean, you can't really support much life there. And, you know, there's probably very few organisms that have been able to adapt to live in those freezing temperatures. All right, that's it for that. All right, here I am again. Okay, so I am going to pause. We are going to go do an activity at my whiteboard back there behind Toothless. Okay, so why don't you get your packets, and we are going to do the next page. We're going to do the sorting activity together, okay? So it looks like this in your packet. If you don't have your packet, here are the things that we're looking at, and you can just go along with us and learn and help us sort. Okay, it's a pretty easy sort, but it's a fun activity. So I will meet you over at the whiteboard in a minute. See you soon. Okay, I'm back. We're here at the whiteboard. All right, so just like on your sheet, I have my 3 columns. I have one for food, one for water, and one for shelter. Okay, and that's going to match your packet: food, water, and shelter. Okay, I have my cards. I've made them a little bit bigger so we can see better on the video. And then I colored them because I like to add color. You can ask any of my students. I always tell them to color all their pictures to make it interesting and fun. Okay, so we are going to start off, and I'm just going to randomly grab some cards, and we're going to sort them and put them under food, water, or shelter. The first one I have is a nest. Nest, okay, nest. Can we eat it? Is it food? Well, there's some cultures that like to eat something called bird nest soup. That's another story for another time and another day. But normally we really don't eat bird nests. And it's not really water. We don't drink it. So I'm going to put this as a shelter because that's someplace where birds live. Okay. Um, let's get another one. I have soda. Can we eat it? Well, eating usually involves chewing, and you don't really chew soda. You drink it, and if you look at the ingredients in soda, it usually does have some kind of water in there. So I'm going to put this under the water column. Oh, I love this one. It's like one of my favorites, and it's a dragon favorite too. Let's see if you can guess which one this was, because dragons do love tacos, and I love tacos too. All right, so tacos, we can definitely eat tacos. So I'm gonna put that under food. Okay. How about, oh, we have one in each column already. Oh, my next one is a teepee. Some of you guys might know that I have a teepee in my room also. It was supposed to be as an incentive prize for Panther Paws, but we didn't get to do that, but I still have it. Anyways, a teepee is like a Native American type of shelter. They use large sticks and some like animal skins or tarps to cover it to live in. And I said, I just gave away the answer. I said it was a shelter, so let's go put it under a shelter spot. All right, next one. Meeny, meeny, miny, moe. Oh, another yummy one. This one is a cupcake. Almost looks good enough to eat, huh? All right, so a cupcake. I said the answer again, so it looks good enough to eat. So let's put it up here under the food. Okay. I also have a juice box, which is something we drink. Okay. Juice has water in it, so I'm going to put it here under the water. Soda, juice box, taco, and cupcake. Hamburger. We eat hamburgers. We don't drink them. If you could drink a hamburger, I probably wouldn't want to try it. So I'm not going to put it underwater. And you can't live in a hamburger. No, you can't. I know somebody out there is saying, I could live in a hamburger. No, you can't live in a hamburger. We eat hamburgers. All right. Next one. Ooh, that's a good one. This one is a pond. I'm trying to fix my sticky stuff on there so it'll stay on the back. So pond. Pond is water. Yeah? Would you agree? I think it's water. But wait a minute. Animals live in a pond, so that's like shelter for them. Where should I put it? Should I put it underwater or should I put it under a shelter? I'm going to say that you can put it under either category, okay? So whichever one you put it in, if you put it under the water one, because there's water in it, that's okay. If you put it under shelter, because that's an animal habitat and it's their place where they live, then that's okay too. Okay, I think I'm going to put this under water for now, and I might change it depending on what else I have coming up. All right, so next one is a castle. Castle. The T is silent, so just castle. Let's put that under shelter because people live in castles. Well, not everybody lives in a castle, but your home is your castle. That is where you live. I also have a tree. Okay, and if you look closely, well, you can't really see much of the picture because it's so little, but the illustrator who drew this, I think it's supposed to be some kind of a squirrel or something, but there's an animal and they've showed the hole in it So, I mean, you can't eat it, you can't drink it, you can eat fruit from a tree, but this doesn't have fruit on it. So I'm going to say that's a shelter, especially since there's a little squirrel living in there. All right, so that's going here. Oh, I need to get a couple more. I have two more. I have a bag of chips, all that and a bag of chips. All right, so of course you're going to eat it. You can't fit in a bag of chips because you're too big. Unless it's like a really big bag of chips, but you couldn't really live there. No bathroom, no water, and living things need water to live. So it's food. And our last one is ice. Ice, ice, baby. Okay, let's put that under. I see that it's melting here. You could eat ice, but ultimately it's water, and most ice will melt down so that you can drink it and return to its water state. So there is our sort. Oops, I knew something was going to fall off. I don't have my regular sticky stuff, so I might stick a magnet up here. Keep that one up there. There's our sort. It looks like we have 4 in each one, but if you put the pond under the shelter, that's okay too. All right, let's go back to the desk and wrap up our lesson for today. All right, here we are back at my desk. Okay, I got a couple more things. I forgot to tell you guys that you remember our little word bank that we had here. I was gonna say that since these are all cut into neat little blocks, what you could do is you could cut them out and you could start like a little a word book, like a vocabulary book or your own little dictionary that helps you to remember words and what they mean. And something as simple as getting a spiral notebook, and see, like my students will usually get a spiral notebook and my science notebook. And what you could do is like this one, I started making a page for A, and then skip another page. So you'd have 2 pages for A words and B, and then you could skip another page and then start for letter C until you have all the letters of the alphabet. And then you can just keep adding words like algae. You would cut that out and put that under A. The blue whale would go under B. The organism, or C, see how bad they spelled it? It says organism, not organism. That would go under the letter O. So that's an idea for you to do. If you don't have a spiral notebook and you would like to do that, when you go to the school, um, to get your work packet on Mondays, they have school supplies there. And you can ask for a spiral notebook. You can ask for some notebook paper, some crayons, or colored pencils, and they have pencil sharpeners. They'll be happy to give it to you if you're going to be doing it because you want to because you want to learn and you want to do things. All right, so that's that. That's that. Let's go on to our last part, okay? So I want you to turn the page in your, okay, we just did that sort, and we're gonna go on to the next page, and we're going to do this. Now you can color this picture, but what I want us to do is, let me pull this up for us on the screen so we can read it together. Now it says, hang on. All right, it's over here on my other screen. I'm just going to leave it there and look this way. All right, so our reflections. A forest is as busy as the neighborhood you live in, but you must look very closely to see the living things in a forest habitat. Go outside and look around your yard. What types of habitats do you see? What types of living things use that habitat? How do you think they are meeting their needs for food, water, and shelter? Okay. So you can color this, but what I want you to do is I want you to go outside and look. Somewhere in your yard or around your apartment complex, if you see a tree or you see grass, that's a habitat for some kind of organisms, okay? Birds build nests in trees. There's squirrels, there's animals all over the place. Find a habitat. And what I want you to do is I want you to write. You don't have to write a whole big long page about it. I want you to write, I saw a blank. Tell me what kind of animals live in it, right? start your science notebook. Make a journal of it. Today I went walking and I saw a bird's nest. It looks like it was a robin and there were baby birds. Just make your own scientific observation in your own little journal. Okay, so that's all I want you to do. And this is not for you to turn in for a grade. This is for you to learn. And it's kind of like a science diary. So I mean, if you write in it a little bit every day and draw pictures in color, remember you can get crayons and colored pencils at school on Mondays when you go for your work packets. Okay, they might have them other days too. You can always ask. But color it to make it interesting. So, like maybe next year when you're in third grade or even fourth grade or even in high school, you might keep that, and look back and go, wow, I remember this is a date. Put the date on it, right? Make sure that so that you can remember, oh, this is a day that I found a bird's nest. It'll be really neat when you come across it later on in the future. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing that for right now. And that's all I got for you today, boys and girls. I know we did a lot. This is probably my longest video, and I hope I didn't bore you, and I hope it was interesting. I know a lot of you guys like science. I love science too. All right, so have a good week. Stay safe and healthy, and I will see you next week. Bye. Aloha.